My cooking philosophy is focused on ingredients because if you have good products, you just need few ingredients.
Altro manca, signora? Vederci. Ah, ok. Bravo, sai che non me lo ricordo. Prosecco. Io non ce l'ho, c'ho crema.
I'm Wendy Holloway, and this is Flavor of Italy, sharing the very best of Italian food and wine, lifestyle, and culture. Hi, this is Wendy Holloway with Flavor of Italy, and today I'm here with Flavia Giordano. And Flavia is Pugliese, which means she is born and raised in Puglia, which is one of the southern regions of Italy along the coast. It's a gorgeous place I love. And so we're going to talk about that because for all of you out there who are planning your vacation and your holiday, this is one of the places that you'll want to add to your bucket list. And so Flavia is not only from there, but she also does all kinds of incredible tourism things there. So Flavia, let's start off with you telling us about yourself and exactly what you do and about Polignano.
Hi, Wendy, and thanks for having me today. I'm very happy to talk to you. So, who I am, a food educator and an author. So, I was born in Bari and born and raised in Bari, but I spent a lot of time of my life abroad. So, I lived in the US and spent 8 years in Sweden, where I had my cooking school. I studied as an archaeologist, and now I'm back. I went back to Puglia a couple of years ago, and I live exactly in Polignano, which is a beautiful town south of Bari, known for spectacular terraces and breathtaking cliffs. So my house actually is on one of the cliffs and close to the famous bridge everybody wants to take a picture of.
Oh, wow. Yeah. What a great place to live. Oh, fantastic. Fantastic. How many years have you lived in Polignano?
I moved here 2 years ago after my time in Sweden.
Okay. And so if somebody wants to come down to Polignano and they fly to Rome or whatever, how do we get down there?
It's pretty easy because if you fly to Rome, you can easily take a second flight to Bari, and from Bari there's a train, so you can just go and be in Polignano, or you can also take a train from Rome to Polignano via Bari Central Station. It's quite easy to reach, and actually, if you don't want to rent a car and you're planning to visit Puglia, especially in the coastal part, it's very convenient using the train because you can visit Bari, Polignano, Monopoli, down to Lecce, and it's pretty practical.
So what if you want not fly down? Is there a train that goes all the way from Rome?
Yeah, there is a train from Roma Termini, and then you have to switch to Bari. So to Bari Centrale, you can take a regionale. So probably this is the only thing you have to switch because Polignano is quite small, so there is no intercity. Intercity are the trains that in Italy connects the major town, and Polignano is small, 18,000 inhabitants. So that's why probably you're going to switch in Bari Centrale to a regional train to Polignano Mare.
Yeah. Now I know that, and I think they just started this summer, Flavia, but there are direct flights from the United States to Bari that they didn't used to have. Travelers, think about that. If you want to come down and visit Puglia, go see Flavia and do one of her incredible experiences, you might want to look into flying directly into Bari, which is fantastic.
Yeah, there
So,
are weekly flights from New York City to Bari International Airport every week.
yeah. So tell us all about exactly what you do and what any traveler that wants to come and meet you and enjoy some of your wonderful experiences, tell us what they are.
Yeah, I run my company and I offer two services. One is a food tour, but I don't like to call it. It's a culinary masterclass. I'm a sommelier of cheese, extra virgin olive oil, and wine, and a writer as well. So this masterclass is a walking masterclass that I lead in Polignano, but also in Bari and in Ostuni if you want. And it's a culinary walking, where we stop in different places like pasticceria, a pastry shop, or at the market. We visit a salumeria. So different places where I can talk about the iconic food from Puglia from the perspective of a writer and a sommelier. So when it's not street food, so we sit and we basically also I conduct a sensory tasting of extra virgin olive oil. When we stopped in the wine shop, there is a small lecture about viticulture in Puglia. So the angle is for those who want to deep dive into the culture and understand the biodiversity and the food and culture from Puglia. So it's in 3 hours. We covered basically the majority of ingredients, cheese. I like in particularly going to the market because there is a small market here in Polignano every day, and it's nice because they are mostly local producer, and you can see really every month the shift of the season and the different vegetables, the different fruits, and people are excited to try now. For example, now when we go at the market to the market in Polignano, it's a mandatory to eat piselli, the green peas, directly from the pod, and they are really
Oh,
like
yeah.
candies.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so we can do this, or we can cook together. I have a seasonal program where we cook together a whole menu in my house here in Polignano, in the old town. So it's fun. It's fun for people who want to really deep dive more into the culture of Puglia and understand the ingredients, because we discussed about how you pick the oil. Actually, I found very interesting the last episode where you were talking about wines and how to deep dive into labels, because sometimes, especially if you are not from Europe, you get a little bit confused among all the PDO, EGP. So it's
Exactly. It can be very confusing. But
mm,
one thing I should say for our listeners is that Puglia is amazing. The olive oil is fabulous, and it's very different from olive oil in other parts of Italy. It's maybe what we would call spicier, if you wish. It's wonderful. And the olive trees, some of them are the oldest olive trees in the world. They're just unbelievable. And it's sheer pleasure just to come to Puglia to look at these magnificent trees.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it's correct. So Puglia has probably the oldest olive trees here in the Mediterranean area. We have in the area close to monopolies trees that are like 1,000 years old, and also the variety of olives is stunning. For example, you said that extra virgin olive oil from Puglia are quite intense, and this is correct because probably the most iconic variety is called Coratina from the town of Corato, and this is very bitter, like a cicoria, a chicory, and that gives really a special character to the dish you are going to prepare. And actually, in Puglia, we produce 50% of the national production in extra virgin olive oil. So it's big. So it's a mandatory.
It's very big. But another great thing about the oil is, I would say almost all olive oil, just right after it comes off the press, it has a little bit of a spicier touch to it. But then it softens out over time. So I have some olive oil, extra virgin olive oil, great oil, that I bought even like a year and a half ago. And just sitting in the dark, in the closet, in the bottle, and it softens out the flavor over time.
Yeah, it's correct because generally the extra virgin olive oil performs the best within 18 months from the moment the olives are pressed. From that moment, the decline starts because as oil is very sensitive to light, to oxygen, to heat, and aging. The best it's to pay attention to the label and check on the best before, because then you are sure you're going to have the best experience with extra virgin olive oil. So when you pass 1 year and a half, the oil can start to develop some defects. So it can be, sure, more sweet, but it's, I don't know, it's also it can develop it. So when the oxygen gets into the oil, start the oxidation process that at the end eventually leads to an oil that become rancid.
We've been lucky in that sense. And I think when we press our oil, we put it in these 50-liter containers. And I don't know if that protects it a little bit because it's in these big containers. What are some of the special cheeses
Oh
in
yeah.
Polignano?
Puglia is known for pasta filata. Pasta filata is the pulled curd, the stretch curd, and it's the family of mozzarella that here can be declined into different varieties because we have burrata, which is like mozzarella dumpling filled with mozzarella fiber, so they stretched, how to say, shredded mozzarella, mix it with cream. So the core is very decadent and luscious, and the external part is like a mozzarella. So it's the best burrata and stracciatella are from Puglia because burrata was created in the 50s in the area of Andria, north of
In
Bari.
Andrea, which is right near you, where
Yeah,
you're originally from in Bari. Yeah.
exactly, it's 1 hour from Polignano. And then, as the pulled curd cheese can be aged, so then you have all the caciocavallo, the scamorza, the provolone, all these cheese that can be more and more intense because the taste of the pulled curd cheese evolve. If mozzarella is very milky and fresh, with time and with when the cheese loses water, concentrate more and more the flavors. So there are some caciocavallo, especially the one from the north of Puglia, from Gargano, which are normally prepared with the milk from a podolica breed. They are very pungent. Sometimes this cheese, this caciocavalli, even tickles your tongue. They become spicy and more
Yeah.
concentrated and salty.
Yeah, sometimes you'll see it when you go to Puglia. It's hanging in these like big cheese curds, about the size of, let's say, an orange or something, and it's hanging and it ages. Yeah,
Yeah,
or bigger. Yeah, they can actually be bigger, anywhere
yeah.
from like an orange to
Melon even.
yeah, a small melon or something. Yeah, more pear shaped a little bit, maybe, but big. Tell
Are
me, tell me.
also hanged in grottos, caciocavallo di grotta, so they develop an even more complex taste in grottos.
Exactly. Yeah, in aged in a cave, yeah, which
Yeah.
gives it extra flavor. So what kinds of things do you make in your cooking class, Flavia? What would be a couple typical dishes you might make?
So my rule is to get inspired by what's in season, and of course check on guest special diets, because if people, not only people maybe can be allergic to lactose, or they have, I can even handle gluten-free classes because sometimes it happens. So I always try to match food preferences, what in season. So normally we prepare a pasta. For sure we make orecchiette, which is the small ears. Orecchiette in Pugliese are the small ear shaped pasta. Or if someone cannot eat gluten, we do potato gnocchi. Normally prepared with a vegetable sauce. So we use, now in springtime, we use peas, we use fava, we have beautiful asparagus. In summer, we use a lot of aubergines, and also aubergines we can make them as in parmigiana, or we even do a lot of zucchini. Zucchini squash are beautiful at the beginning
Oh,
of
yeah.
summer,
Yeah.
and they are mandatory in the menus. So the point is to my cooking philosophy is focused on ingredients. So I try to pick excellent extra virgin olive oil, excellent fruits and vegetables from local markets, and cook them simply, because if you have good produce, you just need few ingredients. I want to feel the taste of the vegetable. I want to feel the taste of a cima di rapa. I don't want to cover it with too many ingredients. So that's a little bit the philosophy.
That's very much of an Italian philosophy to really exalt the wonderful seasonal ingredients, but not have so many in a dish that your palate almost gets confused when you have too many flavors going on.
Mm-mm.
A few wonderful, flavorful ingredients that go well together and make sure that they really sing in the recipe. Yeah.
Exactly. And also, I pay attention to the wine we pair it. As I told you, I'm a sommelier. I try to think about what's the best wine to pair the food with. In Puglia, we have different varieties, from more intense and full body wines as a Primitivo, from Gioia del Colle, or from Manduria, or from Salento, or Susumaniello from Brindisi, which are normally red with very intense flavor and full body, with yeah, I'm gonna say very, with a lot of personality. But we can also pair it with the rosé. We have there's a large variety of rosé, especially if you cook vegetarian dishes, as I normally do. It's nice to pair it with maybe rosé from Nero di Troia. There is a new variety which is becoming more and more popular, and it's a variety from Ostuni, and it's called Ottavianello, and it's a light red grape that can be performed very well as a rosé. Or if I have a request to cook with fish, I like to pair with some crispy verdeca from the area of Valle d'Itria. We even have metodo classico, so sparkling wines that are re-fermented in the bottle, and the best one coming from the northern part of Puglia, so Foggia, San Severo. Have you ever tried them?
No, I'm very curious about this new one that you just mentioned that's from
Tuni.
Ostuni. Yeah, when I come down to Puglia and see you down there, we'll have to try that out. Now, Puglia, of course, has so many wonderful rosés. I love rosé, and a great thing about Italian rosé is they're not just a summer wine. They're a wine you can drink really year round. They're wonderful.
Yeah, it depends. Of course, you can also play around with the temperature. So during summertime, of course, are served a little bit cooler because it's refreshing, and in this case, you will feel more the acidity of the grape. While you can also decide to serve a rosé a little bit warmer during winter time. You can serve it 14 degrees, and in this case you will feel more the fruity part, the aromatic part. So it's very,
Yeah.
I think it's rosé is very versatile wine.
Yeah, it is. Let's say someone comes down to Puglia and they want to have something organized for 3 or 4 days. Do you do that, or do you normally do just one day experiences?
I can definitely organize it because, for example, I can both help in the designing of the tour according to what's your preferences, what you would like to explore, because if people they are more into art, or maybe they want to visit producers, I can organize also a group tour for people for several days. Because, for example, I often go also to the Murgia area, which is very nice area where there are Altamura, Gravina, and this is amazing bread culture and also cheese
Oh, yeah.
culture. So we can definitely discuss. Or Salento, it's beautiful. Tomorrow I have a group in Lecce, and we will we will do Lecce, the old town. Then we are gonna visit a wine producer close to Otranto, and then explore the city of Otranto. Because as I'm an archaeologist, so I like also to match a little bit of historical background with the culinary part of my job. So I can definitely Puglia, Wendy. It's very long. It's almost,
Yeah.
if Italy is 1,000 kilometers, Puglia is it's the half, so it's very long, and the all different parts are so different. So it's really according on what you want to do. If you want to explore the coast or the inland, which is all the area of Murgia. You have the Murgia from north with Altamura, Gravina, but you have also Murgia dei Trulli with Locorotondo, Alberobello, and these are amazing place to visit. So there are
Oh, yeah.
different.
Exquisite. So, yeah, listeners, Flavia then can do all the culinary aspect, do market tours. She's a sommelier, so do the tasting, but then also the archaeology and the historical side. So she'll tie it all in together for you, which is wonderful. And she's from Puglia, so what could be better? Tell us what your website is.
So my website is spaghettiabc.com, and with Spaghetti ABC I'm also on Substack as you, Wendy. And you can, every month I publish a reportage from Puglia to discover Puglia even more. So my new post, I will release it in a few days, will be about Grottaglie, which is an amazing place to discover
Nice.
ceramic and contemporary art. So, as I told
Fantastic.
you,
Yeah.
different angles of Puglia.
Yeah. So I'll share that information, Flavia's website and her Substack link, so that you can read all these deep dive things that she writes. And this one that's coming up about the ceramics, that will be exciting. Flavia, thank you so much. This has been wonderful.
Thank you,
And
Wendy.
everyone, reach out to Flavia if you're getting going on your summer travel plans or whatever time of year. Flavia will be great. Thank you.
Thank you, Wendy. It's always a pleasure to meet you and talk to you, because I love your curiosity, and it's really a pleasure interact.
This has been Flavor of Italy. Find us on www.flavorofitaly.com and on Substack, YouTube, Instagram, LinkedIn, and Facebook, always as Flavor of Italy.